Go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Board of Education regular working meeting, March 5th, 2024 at 5 p.m. at the Wallace Central Office Building. Welcome and roll call. All board members are present. To approval of the agenda. Need a motion to approve? Also moved. Motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. 5-0. Great. Moving on to 3 public comments. Start with A, Gallatin County Sheriff Bud Webster. Please do.
I just wanted to bring our newest addition to our staff here. It's nice to meet you guys. He's SRO. Started 2 weeks ago. Yep, roughly. He's got 8 years law enforcement experience. Comes to us from Ohio. Don't hold that against him. We're working on getting that out of him. But just wanted you guys to see him because he's going to be running the halls and helping us keep the school safe. This one was a little bit of a formal introduction. If you guys need anything from us, again, feel free to give us a call.
Which name again?
Michael. He has experience in scaring kids, so that's all we got.
Great to meet you. I've had one.
You guys do?
If you need anything, we're here.
You guys have any questions or concerns?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
See you guys.
Thanks, bud.
Moving on to 3B, Wildcat Athletic Boosters. Ms. Mindy? Okay, go ahead.
Come on, my finger.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm here to ask a few questions about the upcoming season. We just had a few questions about the new field, which I know is still being worked on. We have access to that field, correct? For the season?
You know, I don't want to speak on behalf of the board. The plan of the, correct me if I'm wrong, you will have access. It obviously will be with the schedules. We'll write a schedule from you all to see and make sure that it doesn't conflict with the ongoing sports. Right. So yeah, I mean, I think that is going to be, we're going to be able to work together. There may be some stipulations that we have that we may request, but again, we'll need to talk about it as a board. Right. So yeah, so ask the questions you want to ask and then we'll get back with you with your answers.
The concession building, well, we have access to that. We do have all our own supplies, machines. I don't know how you guys do it.
What we need to look at on that is what we, as I was explaining out there, we need to take a look at this minute and see if, what we're gonna have in there and how we can work together to and you had mentioned the middle building. Does anybody know yet if we're gonna be using a baseball concession?
I would hope that we all use the same concession. There's 2 of them out there. There's one that's pointed toward the baseball field. Well, they're both pointing that direction, but one was set up, I guess, originally.
Maybe that's stuff we can work on that. And you ask on the hanging of banners and stuff, or placards during your all's game. That's something else we're gonna need to look at legally. I'll find out from Jake.
Okay.
On that one.
The other question I had was using the lower elementary gym for some competition tutor practice. Maybe once a week and then closer to time.
So we'll need a facility request form. So those will need to be filled out with the dates. And again, we'll make sure that it doesn't interfere with anything we have scheduled.
Okay.
And then that'll get approved.
Okay. And then if there's anything else you can allow to athletic boosters, from us to you guys, just let us know. And that's all really I have.
And if any other questions come up, just send an email, but we'll get you all of these in writing.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure I can speak for myself real quick when I say this and the rest of the board. We are looking forward to working with you all this year again. I know it's been a while, but I'm looking forward to working because we're going to have a phenomenal facility out there when it's done.
We're very excited. Thank you all so much for the
Good job.
opportunity.
You're going to get the lines.
When would you all start using it? You're just looking to use it for games,
Yeah,
correct?
just games
Yeah,
typically on
practice will
Sunday.
take place at a different facility.
So when would games begin?
Games probably start end of July, early August. And they're typically on Sundays. Every now and then they will be on a Saturday, but not very often. We will have a schedule closer to time, probably in July.
Earlier the better.
Yes.
Just, you know, that way we can all work together.
Yeah, we have a lot of foot traffic. Like we're in Northern Kentucky League now, so there is a lot of, people coming in from up there.
Anybody else have any questions that we can take? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 3Cs, band and music in our district, Missy Walsh.
Sure, if I'll use the podium.
Well, sure.
Thank you. Good evening. For those that do not know me, I am Melissa Wash. I am the K-4 music teacher here at Gallatin. I have dedicated my 25 years of teaching to this district alone. I've had the opportunity to see our band program during some of its finest years, but I've also watched our band program in struggling times. I am not just a teacher of music, fostering the love of music and teaching children how to use music and helping improve mental health, but I'm also a parent of a freshman band student who has unfortunately not had the band experience that her father and I hoped that she would have. These past 2 years have proved to be a struggle for our music departments, and my child, along with many others, have unfortunately experienced it firsthand. Go to any ball game, and it is heartbreaking to see other schools with full pep bands, then look up and see only 11 to 13 kids representing our school. Now, I do want to recognize these band kids. They have such a passion for our school and the band that while everyone else was quitting, they decided to stay and stick it out, and they deserve a great recognition for not quitting and pushing on through the circumstances handed to them. And I would like to recognize them by having them stand up if they are here. If you're a high school band student, could you please stand up so we can applaud you for not quitting? I want to note, though, that my child is the only freshman band student. That tells me that our band is not being promoted as it should be, nor are we as a district putting enough care into fostering our high school band. With that being said, I have become aware in the process of trying to recruit people to our school that the position is not currently posted. Recruiting is critical in this moment, and in order to seriously recruit people, the job needs to be posted. We cannot promote a job that is not currently posted. Without an all-hands-on-deck active search, I fear that Gallatin County will continue to struggle. A temporary fix does nothing for these kids right here who have decided to stick it out. I do not feel that just sitting on it till next year is what they deserve. During this time, we should all be seeking out people and talking to people. There is some fear that without the job being opened, that it may never open at all. History sometimes proves that temporary fixes look good on the surface, so temporary then becomes permanent. I do not want to see that happen in this case. As of now, our school is spreading the responsibility to our middle school band director. I can understand why. He has great rapport with students and does a fantastic job. But I'm very concerned about the stress level involved in teaching such a broad range of students. I'm also concerned because currently our high schoolers are being shuffled in with 7th grade. If we are looking to grow and foster an environment for these kids sitting right here in your presence, we need a band director who can give 100% of their time to doing so in the high school. Stretching people thin only results in them looking elsewhere and for further employment. I am fearful that we will find ourselves without a high school and a middle school band director if things continue this way for too long. I am here tonight at the beginning of March. March is Music in Our Schools Month. I am requesting that we do everything we can to fill this position as soon as possible with the best, that you open it up and post the open position, that at least we look. These kids deserve the chance to at least have our district look for someone. We really have nothing to lose by going ahead and posting the position. If interviews come but they do not lend the best, then we keep looking. But we could end up finding someone with a lot of passion right now. We would never know if it's not opened up. These kids deserve better. Mediocre effort is not what we expect from our students, and it's not what you expect of your staff. We ask for 100% from them, you ask for 100% from us, and now I'm asking all of us in this room to give 100% back to them. There are no excuses. Gallatin County has had it before. We can have it again, as long as everybody does their part, not tomorrow, not next year, but now. Thank you for allowing me time to speak on a subject that I feel so passionate about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, students, for attending. Any public comment?
As a middle school parent that has a seventh grader who's advanced, this is also inconveniencing them because they've had 3 band directors in 2 years. So they're not on the same level either. So we're looking at not only just affecting those high school students, but also your middle school seventh graders, and they're getting discouraged. I mean, I personally take my child twice a week to private lessons, but he gets discouraged trying to play high school music, and how do you have a senior play the same music as a seventh grader when they've had 3 band directors in 2 years? So as a district, I really do feel like this is something that needs to be posted for not just high schoolers, but all band students before we no longer have a band program.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
This is my daughter Brianna Griffin. She has been in band ever since she could. She loves it. I mean, it means a lot to them. And that nice new field won't be any good without a nice band.
Hi, my name's Joni Rogers. Owen here is a sophomore. He is the last of my 4 kids to have gone through Gallatin. He's the 3rd one that's gone through band. I was disappointed enough when he was a 5th grader that we decided no longer to have band start in 5th grade, that instead that to wait till 6th grade to middle school. The reason I'm so disappointed is if you look at the studies, it shows that music and band has a direct correlation to how the kids perceive, especially math. It triggers something in their brain that helps them to find those patterns and those statistics. And I think we do a disservice sometimes when all you look at is how we can get those kids to do, and I know it's very hard to do just the basic things, but sometimes you need to think out of those boxes. And I was so disappointed the way the band situation has become, because these kids need stimulation and not just a classroom setting, but they need the music, the arts. I mean, we don't have a drama program at high school anymore. You're not giving these kids an outlet that they need. And I just want you to really think about that, especially when you go to look at the music programs, the band programs. That it's not just about the music, it's about stimulating those different parts of those children's brains.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments before we close this?
Go ahead, operator. That's good.
Okay, if you all would like to leave, you're welcome to leave. If you would like to stay, that's fine. We're gonna move on to business, so unless specifically asked, we'll just be working here, okay? So thank you. All right, moving on to 4, board member comments. Student board member Tritton, have anything?
I didn't see my name on here, so I went to go speak with Miss Lewis earlier, and we don't have too much going on in high school right now. We've got ACT coming up. We just had EOP testing today, I believe, right? This week and next week, okay. We mainly just have testing coming up. Next big events I can think of are Wednesday, tomorrow. We have one of our first games. What is that? The regional, I want to say? Region games for basketball. You got prom coming up. All the big end of the year stuff's coming up, and it's almost wrapped up. It's really surprising that it hasn't exactly kicked in that I'm a senior yet. But that's all from me. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Becky?
Just that this past weekend, four of us attended the KSBA conference in Louisville. So that's an annual event every year with lots of training and networking with other groups. Pretty much every district in Kentucky is there. So we get a chance to network and talk to other districts that are like us and districts that are nothing like us. And represent they Anyway, it's very interesting. John, Ashley, Mr. Cashford was there. So, yeah, it was good. It's good. I think that's all it. Oh, I'm sorry. I did want to ask Trenton. So, were you a rock star the last meeting when the board took your recommendation to change the time
Yeah,
for
outstanding
graduation.
job, and that kind of.
Oh yeah, that was okay. That was it. Could have been done better. The way I articulated that. I have been hailed in the student community as very happy with that. I've been like kind of
Influential.
yeah. So they've been very happy with that. So I thank you guys very much.
I just want to make sure you know, getting the credit.
Ashley?
My only comment is I wanna know where we're at with what they just talked about with the band. So I guess we'll have to discuss that. I don't know.
Yes, so that's what he said, it's a work in progress, so we'll have an answer here pretty soon. Correct?
We're not doing away with the program. We've been
Yeah, I knew
actively
that.
recruiting, keeping the wheels on. I've been here not 2 years, been through 3 band teaching.
Yeah.
So, no, we don't by any means, we're not giving up on band or not wanting to promote band. That's incorrect.
Yeah, well, I know that part. I was just
Yeah.
wondering what we were doing.
Recruiting and we're just trying some different options in survival mode right now. But we will actively pursue filling the spot.
I've even heard you comment about how you'd always like to have a marching band.
Yes, greatly.
Yes.
It'd be fantastic.
So it's
They're
safe to
just a
say,
ton of fun.
none of us here,
No,
nobody's
nobody's against band. We're not supposed to have the doors open.
and we agree with all of your comments. It's just logistics and, yeah, we could probably do more, and we will do more.
I think I would just follow up with, when the football field was brought to our attention, I can only speak for one of the 5, but the vote was because the band would be on the football field. It was because our youth program would be back on the football field. It was so we would be able to have a place for our track to practice and be able to do that. It was also a place where it would always be ready for hopefully K through 12 to be able to get out there. It was a major cost to the district, and it was very important to the 5 of us that it was not for 35 or 40 kids to play one sport. That wouldn't be a good allocation of our resources. Not that we're against football, it's also to be very good for the football program. But when you put football, boys and girls soccer, the ability for baseball and softball to be able to take ground balls or fly balls when it's wet, the ability to get the band out there, and the hope. It wasn't that many years ago that we increased the band offerings because we were projecting that we were going to have 65 kids in the band by now. So a dynamic leader is very important in that. I would just tell you from personal experience, it's probably hard to get that dynamic leader when they're already employed probably somewhere else. So it would be difficult to get someone employed right at the moment, but it doesn't mean that you couldn't post it at the moment. We had, Nancy might remember better than I do, but we had like 12 people apply for that position when we hired Scott Reed. And it was, if we get that out, and I think a lot of getting that out is in the places where you all know people. It's not just putting it on KSBA's website or one spot. You have to get out to those places. I can direct and ask you a question. Do you have something you can
I
add to that?
do, because I actually know someone and I reached out to them to ask, do you know anybody who might be interested? Because this person has direct connection to EKU's music department. And he is currently a principal somewhere. So when I reached out to him, he said, I might. And so he's, we kind of hung up, and he got back to me and he said, well, that job's not even posted. I can't even put the word out and seriously recruit anybody if it's not posted. And so that is my argument, is that I don't think anybody is dropping the ball. I think we could all do better in recruiting and getting people, the word out. But I know that he felt his hands were tied because he didn't want to seriously offer it to somebody if it wasn't posted, or, tell people about it. So that was my main point, is that if it's not posted, it's very difficult to get the word out, because then they go and they look and they're like, well, it's not even posted. She's crazy.
I
So
would follow up on all of that. I don't think there's any program we offer that hasn't been cyclical. that there was a time, Tony Drury can tell you, when our FFA possibly had the largest membership in the state of Kentucky. If we weren't tops, we were in the top 2 or 3. We've also had times where we were worried whether or not we were going to be able to keep the program going. We've had boys and girls basketball teams that have won district and competed in region, and we've had teams that barely won games. The roller coaster goes up and down, and right now the band's suffering through this. The passion of the people that are here will be what ignites it to be able to go back up on the roller coaster. So, it's a tough spot at the moment, but I would encourage you to be active. Hold our feet to the fire, hold their feet to the fire, let them know that you want them to do things. But it is a process too, and it ain't gonna be like that we're gonna fix it. So I know you're discouraged. I would encourage you to continue to fight, and I think we're committed to do that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Artis?
I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. We don't know of issues like this unless somebody contacts us directly. I'm glad to see people coming out, addressing the board on the issues and things, bringing stuff to our attention. As John said, when we built that, one of the things was, I'd like to see marching band. Runs on the brain board stuff. Watching the good drill team is phenomenal. I'm sure between the 5 of us, we'll be standing up on Chuck to get this figured out. I do got a question, and Joni, I appreciate you bringing it up. When did our 5th grade band do?
Probably with this Samuel.
Maybe the Samuel or Scott Reed. I think we hired a middle school and we hired a high school at the time with Scott Reed, which probably had a break.
So right now we have every grade for 5th grade.
Your middle school was hired when I was in the band program, when the new band room was open over there. Because my freshman, when that new band room was up, before that new band room was open, we were still commuting over there. Mr. Howard was still teaching.
So
So I don't know when 5th grade
So this is
started.
It was after that.
okay, just one question. So this is not something that's been in,
It's probably been within the last 2 years,
okay,
I'd say.
okay. Thank you. That answers the question.
And I think it had to do with scheduling at the time or something.
Okay.
Didn't want to mix the grades.
Madam Chair, I reserve the rest of my time.
Let's move on to 5, recommended action, new business. 6, discussion items. A, donation for softball uniforms from parents.
Madam Chair, I'll go ahead and take care of items 6, A, B, and C. I was wanting to ask to have them put on the agenda. If parents want to donate uniforms and things, I don't see what the issue of it is. If they're donations, I would like for the board to consider putting something out there. Last year, the golf uniform part of it was donated. I've talked with Mr. Arvin about this, and that's going to cover item B, the H&W contract. As of right now, we have a contract that keeps automatically renewing year after year, which brings me into item C, contract discussion action. I thought several years back the board passed no contract and automatically renew, but those contracts had to come back before the board every year. It was board under law, and I'm trying to think, my mind just went like KRF. We can enter into an agreement, but we cannot enter into a multi-year agreement, but only a 1-year contract as a board. My question on this is, how many of these contracts do we have out there that just keeps renewing that we know nothing about because they're not being brought before the board? So I'd like to make a motion on item A. I'm going to cover all 3 of these real quick. Item A, donation softball uniform. I move that the board accept people being able to donate uniforms to the sports team if we're in need of them.
I'll second it with a question. So have we not been accepting donated uniforms?
Once people are being told that they can't donate uniforms, from my understanding of it. Now, this is rumor mill. I just want to clear this up, get it on record, Ms. Becky. It's the only reason I'm doing each one of these. I want it on record that the board, if people's being told that they can't accept uniforms, it is not coming from that board.
Is the uniforms, picked through the school or the parents pick it?
I guess they would need Miss Ashley to come up with a uniform that the whole team wants and stuff. And if somebody wants to donate that, then they should be allowed to donate it. If it's no cost to the district and things.
From the past, I think my question would be, as a previous athletic director, the way this was explained to me was they did not want business A to be able to come up and say, I will buy something just for these 3 kids. They wanted it to be donated to the athletic department or donated to the specific sport.
That is correct.
So that it was used so that all kids got equal benefit from that.
Correct.
So that would be the only time that I would think there's been any discussion about whether or not a parent or a business would donate.
And, John, I will 100% agree with that. If parents are going to donate, then they should, like you said, if they're going to, like softball uniforms, if we've got someone that's willing, businesses in the county, that's willing to donate for those businesses, donate for all those children, then I don't see why we wouldn't accept them as long as all the children was getting them. Because in a way, it's no different than, you really want to look at it, HW, they give us basically kickbacks or buybacks to Adidas to use them. And my thing is, I don't, going forward, if someone wants to donate uniforms, I think it should be brought to the board before they get told no, brought to the superintendent through whichever department they're running them through now, and say, hey, we got a donation for these, can we accept those donations? Instead of just being told, depending on what group you are and stuff, that yes, you can get uniforms donated, no, you can't, you have to go to a vendor.
That's the way it is now.
I thought it was. I didn't know what this one was all about, to be honest with you. When it was asked to be put on the agenda. Is it one sport? Is it softball? Is that the one?
I've had people last year talk to me about uniforms and stuff before, and I'm just gonna, that's why I asked it to be on the agenda, so we can clarify, if someone wants to donate to a team, then they should be allowed to donate to that team as long as the coach is okay with that.
Yeah, well, whatever they want to donate. I don't see a negative with that, but I don't want the uniforms. It should be for everybody, not just for one or two or that.
That is correct.
Yes,
I will tell you, there's one other caveat to that. You can't you can get in trouble if you donate to baseball and you don't donate equally to softball. You have a Title IX
That's,
issue that's out
I
there.
would disagree with that, John, because by saying that, that means that somebody donated to basketball, then they would have to donate to every sport out there.
You don't have to do it by sport. Like you could donate to football, you have to have a matching female sport. What? And this isn't me. This is the KHSAA, or this is it's a federal. Title IX is a federal thing.
But so I just don't like that if somebody's gonna donate like 3 new uniforms, we're gonna have like half the team old uniforms and 3 new uniforms.
No.
We're not expected to donate $600 to go toward uniforms.
Yes.
It's more parents donating their students to look.
The most is you're just saying, if somebody says they're gonna approve that uniform, they've got the right to donate that, that's gonna come on a donation request form. which
That is correct.
Anyway, so you get to look at it on a
Yes.
one-on-one basis.
Yeah.
So all of these issues about Title IX or my concern about we only got 3, that should be resolved on a one-by-one basis. So I don't really see a problem with this motion, if we're just saying it's coming to the board
That is correct.
for every individual item. And then we can resolve the Title IX issue, or my concern is going about 3, or what we're doing here.
We spent too long on this, we need to move on.
My last question, so this is not going to help, this is not going to enable one team to have different uniforms, is it?
ma'am.
Like this, okay,
No, Becky, what I'm saying is like, in the past, like somebody wants to donate, say, t-shirts with Wildcat logo on them, whatever, to the whole team, they can do it without being told, well, you have to go through this company to do it. You can't,
okay, I got it.
I'm just telling you where I think this question in the community has come from. And I'll just pick out 2 sports just for that. So if everybody likes the baseball team or the softball team, and the softball team is getting a new uniform every year, and you have a rotation plan that says that you get uniforms every 4 years, and And now you've got your other sports that are saying, well, why is the softball team getting new uniforms every year and we have to wait 4 years? I'm being devil's advocate. I'm not
And
being for or against your
You said
proposal.
that every
We're saying
4 years
those are
coming out of the
questions.
general fund to where these are being donated.
That is
I can
correct.
see that argument.
Is that not?
Yeah, and I mean, I'll take donations all day long. I've never really wanted to do anything, but that would be my only concern is on our Title IX audit, because it doesn't say where they donated. My concern would be if you have to say, you know, when did they last get new uniforms? I don't know if that would cause an issue on that.
As long as we have our documentation.
So,
And I think
I don't know.
if they do it properly and they go through him and they go through the athletic department and they spend the money equally. But
So
you just have to be careful that if
Just real
somebody
quick
gives you
just real quick
$1,000.
here, I have planned on saying this long on this subject, I know it was a big deal to make a donation to a tax organization. So you're telling me, say I wanted to donate, baseball uniforms this year.
Uniforms, not money.
Is it, there's
If it's kind of like what you said, if you donate money, you can always donate money because then the athletic department can spend it as they see fit.
I take your money, but you said it, though, as they see fit, what if someone wants that spent for specific?
And that's the rub, and that's the reason why someone's probably brought it up to you is you have to write
So
a
this subject
review.
we taken up frankly.
If somebody is getting new uniforms every year and everybody else is looking at the thing and saying, well, we haven't got any new uniforms for 4
So
years.
it's something, so it's some legislation needs taken
I
up.
think Kentucky has something like
Yeah,
that.
the gentleman called me as well. Actually, he called me before he spoke to anyone else. He's wanting to buy, it's not me by all means, but he's wanting to buy uniforms for the entire softball team. He doesn't want to give money. He doesn't want it, Title IX would be and would come into play at that aspect. But he's wanting to buy uniforms only for the entire softball team and bring it to the board and let the board say, we like that design, we do not like that design, whatever it may be. He's not wanting to give money, he's wanting to buy all new uniforms for the entire team, not individuals.
My understanding of that scenario, the board could accept that. But that would probably put them, as far as in the uniform rotation plan, that would mean now they would be penciled in 2024, they got new uniforms. It would be 2028 before they could get new uniforms again, for the sake of being fair to everyone, getting a
Correct.
uniform in a timely manner, even though that person was.
That's right.
And we would welcome that donation, and it would be great for the school and the program. So yes, we would love the donation, but they're not our rules. Title IX is our federal rules, and so we would have to abide by those. And I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm talking about from 3 years ago. That's what the rules were, and I'm assuming they haven't changed it.
Not to my knowledge.
Do we know when the last time they were?
I don't. But they're evidently they're run down. And a baseball
I have no idea.
uniform,
I
a
don't
football
know anything about it.
uniform,
He
well,
just called me.
they
There's
get
a
run down
softball
pretty quick.
coach. When was the last time you got uniforms,
When
coach?
was the last time?
Madam Chair, I call the
Last year.
question.
Pardon?
Last year.
Madam Chair, question's been called.
Sure. Wait, what's that? I did that.
Bring it
Do we
to
vote for
Please,
yes or no?
please. Yeah. All right, so we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor of the parents donating, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5. Move on. Thank you. Marcus, go ahead.
Item P, H&W contract, I would request that contract, this will fall under contract discussion. Mr. Arvin, I can actually remove that from the agenda. Mr. Arvin's gonna look into that for us. He personally knows the people who works there. That's down in his hometown, where he's from originally, so he's working on that for me, so let's scratch that one. Item C, contract discussion action. Madam Chair, I move that all contracts be brought to the board by, we'll probably weekend for March, April, by the third board meeting in April of every year to be reviewed, like they're supposed to be.
Contracts for,
Services and different things. Maybe we got a lot of contracts out there we don't know nothing about until an issue arises, and then you read it. They're supposed to be bringing them contracts back to the board every year for approval. Printer contracts, any contracts the district has, is supposed to be coming back to the board for approval. Or, like with the scoreboards out there in the gym, if it would have been coming back, we wouldn't have ran into the issue with that. The H&W contract, up against that company, I just seen on there, it says will automatically renew if not discussed or no changes are made by either party. How do we know if we wanna make changes or not if we ain't seen the contract? Somebody could throw a contract out here for something, us not know it for 20 years unless something happened, and it automatically renewed. The board voted once before, I'm pretty sure, but I'm almost positive we did. This very same thing, I want to reiterate, that's when we was having people out in the building signing contracts for the board and things. Any contract that's out in that district needs to be brought to this board for one of our meetings by, the third meeting in April. It'll be reviewed by the board attorney, and discuss whether or not we want to continue those contracts.
I'm just wondering how we get our arms around that with the transition of superintendents over the last few years. I mean,
Somebody
we've had-
I think we could start with the board meetings, everyone that we've approved. That would help. Like, we just have to go over the several contracts.
No, it should still be on the board pack. That's good.
But we also need to do something with this one here that is active and terminated.
Yeah,
The H&W.
well, I think he wants to table that.
Yes, I want to table it from right now to the next board meeting, Mr. Amanda, until David gets me an answer back, but yes, it'll be my recommendation to the board to look at that every year. And depending on what they come back with, it would be to terminate that contract and then to renegotiate.
I would second. Madam Chair, if I just throw something in, only suggestion I would offer to that is if there's any way we could maybe do that in June, when we've got time, once school's
contracts?
out, to be able to dig into that and wrap our hands around all that.
Because
And
some of the contracts, David, not have a stipulation that they have to be done before.
I would think that rollover date would be July 1.
Yeah, they usually have 30 days notice.
Correct.
So, I mean, because you can't buy next year's funds, but you can sign agreements, and most districts do get better prices to say that it'll automatically renew if they're not giving notice 30 days in advance.
So you think
I think
May,
that's
like
the issue.
mid-May?
So,
Maybe it should.
The ones I've seen that we have that way, it's not necessarily of
Madam Chair, I'll
it's-
amend my motion to bring back the,
30 days, just in general.
I'll pull my motion, John. So I move that the contracts be brought back to the board, all contracts in this district by mid-May.
I was second that. At which point I think we're truly allowed to have questions.
Yes.
You are, yeah.
That's what, that's
Yeah,
reason why you got a second.
now.
I think he's right, but the question would be, can you all go through the last 12 months and compile a list? Is that a possibility?
I don't have it now, but we will. This contract has been looked at since Larry Hamlin was here.
Yeah. And I'm
We gotta
sure
start
that's
somewhere, but
things.
yeah.
So what we have to do is just compile a list, Mr. Arvin, that's a possibility, and then if we added, now you could have something new that came up instead of a
I
renewal.
understand.
But, so I think that makes sense, if you all have the capacity to be able to compile a list.
will. I guess my question would be also, John, how in the world would we not know what contracts we're under?
I don't think it's an enforceable contract if we did not know it. Am I not true?
Well, if you didn't approve,
We didn't
if you didn't
approve it.
approve, so some of them, you can approve ones that automatically renew, like some of the printer contracts or prime contracts, they say, when you approve them, it may be a 2-year term, and it automatically renews after the first year, but you can give 30 days, you can get out of it, so that's not binding next year's funds because you can't get out of it. A different scenario would be, I think that in the district, you've got, maybe some that were signed by somebody, just a worker without them coming to the board by custodian or something. Those would not be legally binding on the board.
My understanding, through school law, his is the only contract that we can do that's longer than everything else is a year renewal anyway. And anybody that did it was out of bounds for approving it. We may honor it, but they would be subject to repercussions for approving something without board approval.
Well, you can approve one, and like your current contracts are a good thing, you can't bind next year's money. So you can't sign a 5-year contract that says, I'm gonna pay you X amount of money for 5 years. You can sign one, and I'm pretty sure this district has them, I think just about every district has, because you get better prices. Like on your software contracts and your current contract that says, if we don't change anything by the June 30th deadline, then we're gonna renew it at the same term. Because that gives you the opportunity to change it. I think that's what our just want to look at that may, and don't let it automatically renew. But you can do one that automatically renews.
Did you have something for input?
I just wanted to say that the auditors ask for these every year when we do the audit, any binding contracts, any MOAs. So, yes, I believe that Mr. Arvin and I can get together. I had to gather so much for the auditors. Are they 100%? I don't know. But I think we can certainly get those to you by mid-May because I've already worked on those since I've been working here, trying to get copies of those and get them.
I think, Angie, that would include everyone at the universities that you have.
We always
MOU
send those
with.
to the board.
I know we always have to do them, but I think if we just got them on that one, this actually would help us clean up some things. And so all those MOUs could be done at one time. And we can say, now we're good to go with K-State, we're good to go with Northern, we're good to go with JCTC. And
Our only issue with those is they send them to us at different times.
but we know who we dealt with. So
Okay,
if we have them on the list, we could already approve it. And then when they mail it to you, it's already been board documented, it's
So
approved.
do you need anything from me then? Do you need me to make
Just
a
make sure that
Okay.
that these two know everything that you all have agreements like that with, but we painfully, we agree on one, you know, we have passing on that. Okay, we called to, do whatever it is.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I vote.
I'm sure I'm gonna use my reserve time here. I was looking at something, I didn't see it on here. I wanna apologize. I wanna add item F on there for, the salary and stuff. I meant to add it at the beginning of the agenda, and I was going, I do best talking. But and, action discussion for, salaries and positions.
You want a motion to amend the agenda? Yeah, you can, if you're making a motion to amend the agenda, you can do that at any time.
I'll say.
Second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. I vote. Okay, F has been added. Are we good on your ABC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. D, discussion review 2 submitted quotes to install new light bulbs at the baseball softball fields.
On that point, so I'll discuss this now. Okay, does anybody have any idea of how many ballasts are blank?
We estimated somewhere between 5 and 10. The lights are out. Troy really couldn't tell until we get up there to it. We have 10 ready to go. We ordered
Then we've
10
already
ballots.
bought, right?
We've already bought 10 ballots for baseball, softball to go along with all new balls.
Well, my biggest problem with Beacon's quote is a labor rate for a 120-foot line person is $175 per hour. It makes me nervous of not knowing how many hours they're going to be employed. So it's kind of an open-ended where we don't know what we're getting into on that expense. Versus this other one, looks like they've taken their best guess at what they think that's going to be. Am I reading that the same way as everybody else?
The only thing I see is that the extra cost on that one would be if they had to be ballast. Right? Everything else would be,
And I'm sorry, we don't know how many.
Sorry.
yeah, there's no way to know.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a guess on Beacon.
I move to approve E&W service.
Okay.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. UW Services. Good. Item 6E, Judge Morris discussion on Playground Road.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, there you are.
how are you all? I want to thank you for amending the agenda. I was the only thing standing between you and adjournment, so, with that, I'm not gonna be that person, so. Real quick, I'm not asking for a decision right now. I think last month, Magistrate Hags came and kind of told you some ideas that we had. February meeting, fiscal court, we talked about our park, which is right directly behind the middle school. And, we have made some improvements there. We're working on making it more ADA compliant. Going to try to get a hard surface for the parking lot. And then that would connect all the way around to Maintenance Road near the skate park. In doing so, if we were going to do that, it would be advantageous for the county to tie that into your parking lot where the teachers park, I guess, in that back section, or the front section of the school, the back section. It would tie that in. And for the county, it certainly increases the level of access for the park, not only to the public, but also for first responders and for police. Now, I've talked to Jason Jones with the police department, chief of police. I've talked with Bud a little bit. I don't think it would necessarily increase patrol, but it could increase access for currently if we have a problem after school or on the weekend or in the mornings or whatever, that we have to respond up Dorman Drive, down Maintenance Road. I think this could increase that access to the playground. We just installed I think we spent about $60,000 on a new soft surface and some ADA swing sets and some slides, and we literally had that in the paper 2 months ago. It's already been vandalized. So that is a problem. That's one of the reasons. That's one problem that I'm trying to solve is how can we make that, more accessible. Currently, if you're back there at the park, you can see when somebody's coming, and you can just go the opposite way because you see them come around Dorman Drive. So that would help us. I don't think. I don't want that to necessarily be the intention would not be for that to be another access to the school, but an access to the county. Now we would, at our expense, we want to, hopefully try to pave that parking lot and tie that in. Currently, I think some people use that anyway. They just jump the curb or drive through the grass. This would make it much more safe and do that. So we will be looking at getting some pricing for that and try to get that done. Obviously, to tie in your parking lot, we would want your blessing or to partner with us on it without getting your wallet out.
Questions I would have, which I would want Mr. Arvin to be involved with. For me, on a school parking lot, I don't see why we want more access of people coming into our parking lot, because that's more people driving through that could get people that are in our parking lot. So I'd probably, if we've got a safety group or whatever that looks at those things, I'm probably involved with that group, but I would want that group to look at it and see what effect that would have on us, because the easier the access is for people to be in and out of the parking lot for us, makes drug dealing easier, makes safety issues a bigger issue. I would just want that group, that committee, to look at that before we make a commitment of, I want to help you, I want to be a friend of local government, and if we can do something that's good for both of us, I think that's wise. I think our number one priority is making sure our kids and staff are safe in those parking lots. And just my little head's having a hard time figuring out how we keep all that traffic away from our people that are parking there.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. And I agree. And I think some of the things that we could, that would be part of this plan that, budget allows, would be to make that maybe more of an access for people to walk to the park or to Parkside Apartments, go through the park. Maybe eventually there's a walking trail in there that would lead to some of that, but also getting back to Asbury Point. The middle school team and upper elementary team, I think, does a wonderful job. And if you ever drop your kids off in the morning back there, I think they do a great job. And they do it in the cold and the rain, and thank you all for that. However, if I think that this could alleviate some problem in after school, I've also come through here at times, but that whole area of a lot of kids that walk from the middle school to the high school, and then they somehow get to the student parking lot, man, bless them, because that is, and so maybe this could force them to go down Maintenance Drive and go that way, unless they're just going to the high school. So that would be an option too, but something they could look at. Could we get them, off of that? But I understand the concern of opening up the parking lot for more traffic. I do here.
I think there's something we just need to get bullet points on too, would be like a time zone. Maybe we make that only available during certain times, and that would stop a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I think you all absolutely control, you know, I think you've done a great job, you know, controlling your access to the school off of 42, off Center Street, and even off of Dorman Drive. So I think that hopefully, I couldn't imagine wanting to bring my kid down Dorman Drive and come in the back way, but some people do, and they drop their kids off in the back now. So, you
So
know,
what I'm getting out of this is you guys are gonna maintain it in snow and come on up through ours, right? Since we're, I mean, you know, it's kind of one,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
I don't want to get involved in
Kind
any
of what I'm
contracts.
getting.
Snow
I
removal,
know,
grass
that
mowing.
was good. No, we should have put something
Yeah.
on it, right?
Is that yearly, do I have to come back each May, or is that
Yes,
just?
sir.
Snow removal the first year, mowing, weed eating the second.
Yeah, this is gonna work out great.
Yeah.
We want to work with you, right?
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
I think, I would like to get a price. I would like to, you know, make sure that, you know, we would look at it. We would look doing it after school's out, but, you know, just put this in your minds and then we'll come back and.
Judge, the only concern I would have with it is what you know is, and I mentioned it with you and Jay, one of you, don't mind, my question was, during school hours, you and I both know people take shortcuts, we ain't gonna see dump trucks coming down there from that
No,
county on it.
no, I think you would only see that
Yeah,
as a bit of an emergency or.
Yeah, that was my only concern is, you know, if we could limit the access.
Yeah.
During school hours and stuff, and then.
I absolutely think you guys can limit the access, so, you know, we could do some signage of not allowing, you know, no cut through, you know, that, I think we do a good job with that anyway, so.
Mr. Arvin, would you mind taking this task on and
Not a
working with
problem.
the safety team, and then we can address some bullet points or you come back to the board
I
on the
think I
board?
can speak for myself on this, the board, we appreciate the county, what you all done, and we've worked with you on different projects. One or two in the pipe there that benefit the county and stuff, so.
Maybe we need to take a meeting we need to do a road trip and go out there and actually look at it. Once we're farther down the road.
If there's a suggestion that you would like better than anything, I don't have a, like I said, I just wanted to, you know, if there's interest, then I'll move forward. If there's not interest, then I'll go a different route, so.
I
Not
have
to waste
witnessed
anybody's time.
the curb jumping and parking as I sit there, and I've seen several like that. All right.
Okay, thank you all very
Thank you.
much.
I'm gonna stand when I do this, so I can.
Oh, sure, so formal, okay.
Great, so I'm ready to go for these
6F,
jobs, so hurry up.
salary.
Y'all got the one packet in there, I believe, Mr. Organ stuck it in your folders.
Yes.
So I don't stutter through this, I wrote it so I can move quicker. Over the past several years, the board has asked me to work with the administration looking at our staffing allocation and pay scale to make recommendations back to the board on the budgets and staffing. First off, I want to thank everyone who has worked with me, David, Chuck, Mr. Jury, Ms. McCarthy, and Mr. Gamble. Is he here tonight?
He's not here.
I saw him.
Yeah, he's out there. Yeah, come on, Kelly.
Chairs, come on in.
You take my seat over there. What I'm going to recommend to the board, I believe will bring prosperity and sustainability to the future of our district. What I'm going to recommend is just not a necessity, but an investment in the very foundation of our community's future, the education of our children. Over the past several years, the board has undertaken a strategic approach to address areas of need, trying to ensure that every facet of our educational system is home to perfection. Today, I wish to shed light on a critical area that demands our attention, our dedicated teaching staff. Our teachers, the backbone of our educational system, they have shown unwavering commitment and dedication. However, it is undeniable that we are facing a challenge in retaining experienced educators and attracting fresh experienced blood into our fold. A pay increase is just not a number, it is a statement, a commitment to the value we place on educators who shape the minds and the future of our generations. The positive impact of this investment will resonate beyond the classroom. It will reverberate through our community, fostering a culture of excellence and attracting the very best educators to join our ranks. Our children deserve the best, and by investing in our teachers, we are investing in the future success of our community. I'm proud to highlight to the board that over the past 8 years, we have managed to give pay raises, and I believe 5 of those years while concurrently reducing costs within the district. This demonstrates our commitment to fiscal responsibility to the taxpayers by prioritizing the well-deserved compensation for our educators. It is not just about short-term gains, it's about sustainable, long-term growth. Every employee in our district plays a pivotal role in shaping the trajectory of our community, from administrative to custodial staff. Each member contributes to the holistic success of our district. However, the teachers, with their direct impact on the educational experience of our children, stand at the forefront. The recommended pay increases I will recommend is just not about adding numbers. It is a targeted investment in our district's success. It is an acknowledgement of the importance of experienced educators and a strategic move to ensure the long-term sustainability of our educational system. I urge each of you to see this proposal not as a mere budgetary consideration, but as an investment in the very fabric of our community, but most importantly, the children in this community. The returns will not be solely financial. They will manifest in the achievements and success of our students, the pride of our community, and sustained growth of our district for generations to come. In conclusion, let us not view this proposed pay increase as an expense, but an investment, a deliberate and calculated step towards securing a bright future for our district, our community, and the most valuable and precious resource we are entrusted with, our children. I want to thank each of you for entrusting me in this endeavor each year. I have always tried to be as accurate and conservative in what I recommend to the board while keeping all stakeholders in mind. Here are the proposed changes I would recommend. If you bring it on your page there. Mr. Arvid?
Yes.
You want to, or Kelly, you want to give some numbers here? You want me to run through them?
If I can ask a quick question, so we're talking about next year's budget, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Not current.
Not
but
current
starting
budget.
July 1.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
This is changes in general fund revenue for 2024, 2025. I'll run through them real quick. Our projected fund balance, and this is a conservative projection, ending 6/30/24. And correct me anytime I'm wrong on this, Ms. Mary Jane or Mr. Gamble. $3,580,000 in our contingency. Is that right? The changes in general fund revenue for 24-25. Our local taxes $245,000. Our SEEK will be $73,300. Capital transfers will be at a negative $172,800. Plus minus projected change in revenue $145,500. I'm going to get into this in a minute. I'm going to skip that line for now, and I'm going to come back to it when we get to that point. The general funds salary adjustments, as you can see there, each one of them is if we take any of these, that's how much it will decrease from our contingency for next year. These numbers are conservative. When I run these numbers, I don't calculate in what I think we're going to get. I look at, okay, where are we at now? What do we have coming in? I also deduct some because at some point before I got on the board, they kind of based the salaries off Nucor steel. Nucor steel is a commodity. They're not producing energy. We're not getting taxes from them. So I keep that in mind when I do these. I think I can say this, Mandy, you can correct me on if I'm wrong. Right now, third and fourth quarters of this coming year, and it's not just at Nucor, it's in other steel mills around the area and stuff. Their order books are going to get tight, and that's just it's the nature of the beast. It's election year. Companies is not going to get caught with a bunch of steel on the ground and sitting in because they don't know what's coming. So if you go back and look over the time that Gallatin Nucor has been in the county, each election year, if you take a look at the finances of those election years, you'll see our tax revenue from the utility taxes drop in those areas. We ran into an issue here. I believe Mr. Huber was superintendent then. John, they went, if I remember, like 6-7 months, they had a huge reduction, I think it was, in the utility taxes. And I don't want to get caught. So when I'm giving you these numbers, it's numbers that we can sustain into the future and stuff and moving forward. If you look on sheet page 2 on your sheet there, got our daily average attendance. We're projected for 24-25. Our ADA to be 1,270. We got a large preschool class out there, I believe, Miss Megan. Is she here? Nope, she ran away. Some of the elementary lower may know the numbers, but I think it's around 120, Mr. Tanks was.
Yes, yeah, he's nodding. I didn't want to say the wrong number, but yeah.
And then our 8-month average free lunch, 971.6. And it runs on down with 1201 child count, severe, moderate speech, runs through those. For 23-24, our guaranteed base per pupil was 4,200. For 24-25, we're looking at 4,400. For 25-26, we're looking at 4,600. If you look down in the next section there, for our guarantee of risk, all those numbers are there. I'm not going to go through every one of them. Our less 30 cents that the state gets us for, 2,656,600 is calculated in there. For our net general seat fund for 23-24, we was at 5,360,422. For 24-25, projected on a conservative end is 5,433,069. And underneath that, we got our local FSTKs, state, and capital outlay. For a net general seat, this says fiscal year 2018. I hope this is not correct because I'm well past that date. For 6,322,540. You flip over to the next page, is David fine print for some reason. And I need to get another pair of glasses to read, I think. Here's what I'm recommending to the board. And I will put these in motions and we can get them wrote down, but I'm going to go through real quick what we're recommending to the board and the cost of it. As the board is well aware, I think, 4 years ago, I believe, Kelly, when I asked to do away with the custodial and the mowing. And the reason was at the time, for what it was spending, the cost of it and stuff wasn't making financial sense to do it the way we were doing it. So we contracted those out. I'm going to ask the board not to contract those out this year. I want to bring our custodial back. They will be on a 200 and, oh my Lord, have you got them any smaller?
240.
Yeah, 240. Sorry. Custodians will be at 240, 0 years experience. They'll start at $17 an hour, all the way up to $24.50 an hour. The average increase in that from the past and things, plus what we're spending on the mowing contract, and the number of employees that we got in that right now will be 4,000.
984.
Thank you. I'll just look and somebody say the number for me. That affects 3 employees right now. What I'm going to ask the board is to create 6 positions and bring that back in house. By us doing that, by the time we spend the chemical cost and the savings in that was, I ain't got the number in front of me. I ain't got that other sheet that we done those on. What was your number on that for savings per year on that?
Ballpark salary alone was $50,000.
And that's above and beyond what we was paying out to contractors. And like I said, I will get to these motions in a minute. The head custodians, same thing, 240 days. They'll be paid a little bit more because they're supervisors. Our next positions I'm looking at is our secretaries and attendance clerks. They're 228 days and 186 days. 0 years. They started at 1525 in both positions. They'll stay the same all the way through with 24 plus years. It looks like $23 an hour. The number of employees that this affects that we currently have, they will get an average increase of $2,940.51 a year starting next year for a pay increase. Our next positions, our computer tech position, will be 235 days. It'll be 21 for 0 years, all the way up to 25 plus years at 32. That affects 1 employee. The reason on that 1 employee, there was a big pay discrepancy. What was the pay discrepancy on that one, David? I tried to close.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was significant.
Yes.
One was included in the raises last year, one was not.
Correct. So I'll ask the board to, when I do this, to bring this one up. That is an increase in that position, $5,420 $4.24. Our position of our bus monitors looks like at the 180 days, 0 years, $14, 25 plus years, $21.50. An average increase for our bus monitors, it affects 4 of our employees we got now, that's $711. Our maintenance assistant, maintenance workers one, 235-day contracts, start at $16.50 and $17.50. Maintenance assistant to worker one, ending at $27, and I think it's supposed to be 28 there, ain't it, David?
27, 26 is what you have.
Yeah, 27 on top, 26 on the bottom.
So, okay,
Yeah, the first one, the maintenance assistant would be the supervisor of the maintenance workers.
how did we flip on them last week?
Oh, I think it's fine. I think it's good. It's 26 on the bottom, not 28.
Okay,
Sorry, it's small.
that affects one employee, and the average increase for those positions is $5,949.44. Our instructional aides and our instructional aides for SPD is 181 on both of those, at $15 and $15.50, ending at $22.50. The number of those employees in those fields, the average increase will be $2,871.87 for those fields. The total cost of that portion there will be $84,421.60. I'm going to ask the board to approve that. The position, our family resource service centers, our coordinator and our advocate, there are 240 days and it looks like 195 days. Every bit of money that comes out of this is monies that we receive from the state, so this does not come out of our general fund. Out on the side there, there's a note that says this is $1.25 raise an hour for the coordinator and a stair step increase for the family advocate, 4 years 50 cents, 5 to 14 years $1, 15 to 25 plus years $2. This is done with the FRC budget, and like I said, it is no cost to the district. The summer coordinator, there went 20 days on it, $5,000 salary. These two positions are tied to ESSER, the homeless money, and it must be spent by the end of this summer. We have to spend that money by the end of this summer. Once the funding is gone, the possibilities, the positions are automatically abolished, and this is at no cost to the district. The human resource director will be, this is a new position. I'm going to ask the board here in a few minutes to make a motion on. Ms. Burgett had asked for this position. It is a position that is desperately needed by us. It will be a certified position, 230 days. We looked those averages up online to see in this area, look through Northern Kentucky. Mr. Arvin and Chuck did to see what these positions pay. For 0 years, it's $57,000. For 25 plus years, $71,000. I'll be asking the board here in a few minutes to approve that position. The athletic director, days 45, 7,500. The director, scratch that. The one position there that I just scratched is still that position. It will not be called that position. It's 53 days at a 1.22 index. The director of virtual education and ESS. That is the position that we already approved out there to do the the virtual education, and we're wanting to add the ESS to it, Spanish school services to that with a additional 45 days at a 1.0 index. There was another sheet I was looking at that I ain't got up here with me. Did I miss anything? I'm gonna write these motions as we go through it. I'm gonna do them one at a time. If I miss one, somebody please tell us. David, Tony, any of you all.
Can I ask a question first?
Yes, ma'am.
So are you going to address the general fund salary adjustments?
Yes,
Okay, in your motions?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
I would move for a $6,000 pay raise for the 15+ year teachers and admin on a base salary schedule adopted on 6/30/2023. And that was the last year when we had the 4%, that salary schedule does indicate the current raises and stuff that we get from last year.
You said the salary gets billed 23, but you're talking about approving this for next year, right?
Yes, sir. This will be for the 24-25 school year. Everything I'm talking about on here will be for the 24-25 school year.
So you're saying any certified teacher who's got 15 years or more of experience, including administration, will get $6,000 raise
Yes,
in
sir.
their pay scale.
Yes, sir. That'll put us the 4th highest paid in the state of Kentucky for 15+ year teachers. And John, I truly believe by the numbers and stuff, looking at this, I think it opens up the opportunity to draw experienced teachers in. Like I told Mr. Cash and them, when we get done here, if they can't make it work, they need to turn their certificates in and go home.
Are you wanting to draft each motion as we go?
Yes, ma'am.
Our finance people give a thumbs up, looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, you have to realize that we're basing this on a $200 seat base increase next couple of years, for the next 2 years. And you're also gonna be spending possibly into your contingency. So, but the contingency right now is projected at the end of this year at $3,580,000. You know, it wasn't 3 or 4 years ago, it was 1.3 million. So, that's where we are now in terms of our almost tripled our contingency fund. Over the years.
I'll second the motion.
Fergus motion, John second, all in favor? Aye. 5-0.
The next motion would, I move to approve an HR position up on the, make sure I get this worded right, Jake. I move to approve an HR position on the salary index of the 230-day, starting at 57 for 0, 25 plus. I move to approve the HR position. Here, it's just the easiest way to do it. I move to approve the HR position at the 230-day.
As presented here.
As presented, classified position.
Classified.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 5-0.
The mowing, I moved to bring in 2 ground, we have it on here. I moved to
The maintenance worker one.
There's maintenance.
yes, maintenance worker 1.
Yes.
This could require us to buy any
Yes, sir.
equipment.
Yes, sir. We got that figured into the first year. First year on the mowing side for what the contract is, what the mower's gonna cost us, we won't see no savings. But on the second, going into the second year, what do we figure up on the savings on that one?
I think by end of second, beginning of the third year, we're gonna start to break even on
Yes.
that and start to get ahead.
And also on that, John, them 2 people, they're not gonna be mowing all week. One of the things I agreed to for this position was, we know this district can be mowed in a day. The rest of the time, we got buildings that need pressure washed, we got doors that need painted, we got maintenance work we need done around here. These people ain't being hired just to mow full time.
I'll second. Did you say 1 or 2?
2.
Okay. Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. 5-0.
I move to do away with the cleaning contract and bring in 6 people to add to our
Custodial staff.
custodial staff.
Is that 5 custodians, 1 head custodian, or what is it on this? Or 6 custodian position?
I would do 5 and 1 head custodian
5 and 1, Jake.
Per building or per school?
for the entirety of the district.
Right now, we have
Yeah,
3
3.
full-time, John.
So
They
we have
send us
3.
in 6 with the savings the first year after, with David and Chuck and them figured up, Tony and everybody, with those positions, the we should see conservative, what, 25,000 the first year after we buy chemical savings on that.
Probably.
The second year, we could get up to around 50,000 savings on that, which offsets the other two positions for the mower.
We feel comfortable, we can find personnel.
With the salary scale proposed, I'm very confident.
Yes, and these are, anytime I say these are with the salary schedules proposed.
And they would be second shift coming in, maybe 30 minutes before school's out, getting everything ready to work across the district.
Different subject, but who would supervise these people?
I believe in the discussion, those people will fall under the principals. The principals will be responsible for,
There'll be one head custodian on that crew, and any issue that a building principal has with cleanliness of their building, they'll direct it to that individual to be taken care of.
So each school will have one head.
There will be one head for the entire crew. Working in the evenings.
I'll say.
All right, motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
am I missing anything that we've added? I'm gonna get on into yours here in a minute.
Okay, good.
Oh, the admin position. In technology.
No. Or, yeah. Yes,
Position and title to be determined.
yes, that's the best way to. I'll move to add a technology position with title to be determined.
As presented here.
Yes, sir.
On this pay scale.
Yes, sir.
I'll say.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
5-0.
Am I missing any?
The summer coordinator. That's the only thing to be created that we don't currently have. For the ESSER funding.
Correct. Do we need to create a position for that, or?
We do not currently have one.
Yeah, you need to create it.
Okay, I didn't know since that was coming out of Esther, if,
You have money look at the test.
okay. It's all in the coding on the What would that be called? The summer
I would just
coordinator?
call it a summer coordinator. 2 positions.
I move to create 2 summer coordinators positions to be paid out of Esther. And abolished once the Esther funding runs out.
We have a motion, we need a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. 5-0.
Where's our one? Of the, where we was moving the ESS and all that. Because we're gonna need to approve that.
That salary schedule, that's on there at the bottom. That's included in that,
The director of the virtual education?
in ESS.
Do we need a motion on that, Jake, to combine those 2 positions?
Are you combining them?
Yeah.
Then yeah, you need a motion.
I'm gonna need to, you got a picture of that? Well, we done all that on that paper, or?
It's,
We're gonna do that. One at a time. Madam Chair, I move to, add at 45 days an index of 1.1, Director of Virtual Education in ESS. And that is a certified position based on, it'll be 45 extended days.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
1 second, all in favor? Aye.
Uh,
5-0.
What else do we
changing the pay. on
The rest is adjusting the pay scales for positions listed. How much we need to do those individually or
Yes.
just as a group?
You know, that's the whole chart. I make a motion, we approve the chart as it's been presented to the board.
I second it. Great. Ashley, all in favor?
Madam Chair, discussion.
Sure.
We
thought we were getting.
John, just real quick, what was your question on that?
Well, I knew like athletic directors now getting extended days. Maybe the other question we maybe ought to have is, whatever you've got on this microfiche copy here.
I didn't want y'all to read it, John.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I said.
We're saying we accept.
Okay.
The whole thing.
The whole thing that you present on this
Yeah,
table, we accept.
Okay. Y'all should read that.
Are you good, Horace?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. 5-0.
Anything I missed before I get to Miss Becky's?
Oh, what is mine? The front page? Oh, yeah.
Now, after running these numbers and stuff, I want to move back to the front page here. They ran for general fund cost 1% certified and 1% classified to everyone except those that got a raise, or about 92, around 93,000. I would recommend to the board. Last year we done a 4%. I would recommend the board at 2%, and we should still be sitting good with our contingency. That should put our contingency balance with everything we just done there to around, right around the, probably roughly guess what, 2.7 kilo. And going next year, we will see, or I believe, and like anybody that knows me, I run conservative numbers. I believe, and I think Kelly does too, that we will see an increase in our general fund next year still. We've been doing this now we've been targeting these areas. And while being able to, like I said what I said there in the beginning, 5 out of 8 years while we're doing this, we've been able to reduce costs in the district, all while giving raises and still building our contingency. And I truly believe if we stay the course, I've said this and will continue to say it, at some point, I do expect to see returns on investments. And I think by the board doing this, everything we've approved, I think it'll be a phenomenal tool for them to start recruiting teachers and stuff. But what I would recommend to the board on the rest of it's a 2% across the board, except for the positions. Correct me if I'm wrong on this wording, Kelly. Except for the positions that we've done tonight, because their raise was included in it.
You got on the motion? Do I have a second?
Does that answer your question, Ms. Becky?
Yeah, I think so.
In other words, the 15 plus years certified, or excuse me, certified is, they got the 6,000, so 14 years and below on that pay scale across the board from rank 1 to rank 5 will go up 2%. The same, all the certified positions across the board, any that wasn't affected by this, any position that wasn't affected by this will also get a 2%. The cost of that would probably be about an additional 186,000, just off the top of my head, or maybe a little less.
Yeah, right. Those two numbers that are on there, you just multiply them by 2. You see those two there. One that's classified, certified.
So my motion is, you get the motion, Amanda?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Any other questions, anything we missed?
The step up.
That was on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you speak to the step up?
The step, okay, I did have a question on that. When we're saying step up, when we do the 2%, it's gonna move that whole salary schedule up. 15 plus year got moved up 6,000.
Well, it's not gonna move it up 6,000.
As far as,
Don't matter, it's like 14 years, then, I mean, it's not gonna move up near the 15 years at 6,000. Is that what you're saying?
You're gonna get the 6,000 to the base, but then we'll still get the step up, whatever our
Right.
salary is,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
yes,
But, yeah,
The step ups are gonna be automatic when you gave your year.
that's correct.
So you don't need to take any action on that tonight.
That's what I didn't think so, but it was on here.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Marcus, for
Yes.
all this work and time.
I want to thank Chuck and all them. They put a lot of negotiating went on during this.
Did we want to take allocations too, or just?
What is it?
Allocations.
Yes, while we're here, let's get them done. You got them?
I do.
Need just a few more minutes on that.
So at least, let me, you got certified on their slots on the top two lines. Is that supposed to be their slot?
No.
two different examples.
So it is supposed to be their slot.
One included the,
Okay.
admin, one did.
One was just for 15 years for teachers executive.
Okay.
Get that picture, Tony.
On the, well, he may have it on this, but I think that's what it is. He gives them full-time instruction.
Hey, let's just, we know where we're at. And that's, he'll have it.
I got to go up on the file with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Everything we're gonna do here from moving forward is a wash on everything. We play the shell game. You wanna do them or you want me to? Right, but what are we calling it? Changing the time for that. But we're gonna have one of these meetings and talk about that instead of half and half. I'm sorry. Okay. What's that? Full-time school.
I do that stuff.
Ben Tony's gonna do it easier, he's got FTEs and everything else on. He's got too many things to do.
The moment ago, we're not gonna renew that. No, we're gonna do like the mowing stuff, it's gonna, the mowing stuff will take right, we're gonna need to put bids out there to get our mowing, because we're a mowing contract. We're gonna go ahead and get the lawnmowers.
Yeah, okay.
Get the mowing people, we're good.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to. We'll put it back. Don't do that, we won't. The custodial contract will end, the way the mowing contract and custodial contract works, beyond, because we're June 30th and July 1st, then that'll take care of the custodial contract. The only thing is, and the issue you all brought up, and I should have clarified, the mowing contract, we need to go ahead, if we're gonna do it this year, or if it's the pleasure of the board, let's contract it out for the rest of this year, start this next year.
Yeah, just to be clear, all those motions that I've written down were effective next school year. So if we want to do something this school year, we need to, do still do that, because everything I've written down there, my understanding was back in next school year.
We can start mowing in 2 weeks. I mean, can we get people hired, can we post the position and get all that pulled off?
And if you all,
And we need mowers, under additional duties, signed by the superintendent for our maintenance workers.
The ones you've got now?
Yes.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
I mean, and then that would just alleviate this shit.
that's a, hey, I've got
I'm
no
just trying to find
dog in this
solutions.
fight. I just presented this stuff to you.
I'm saying the new positions shouldn't be effective
Correct.
next week, unless you want to.
When you say next year, you mean July 1?
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
Okay, not 25.
School year, next school year. So yeah, you've got like a 2-month gap, maybe your current staff can mow it or whatever, but if you want to create a position this year, I think you need a new motion.
Do we have mowers to mow?
We have one more.
We need to purchase one, once we've got that figured in. It don't matter to me. I ran the numbers, I got no dog in this fight, you all need to decide that.
I think superintendent can manage it.
We need to make a motion to give him the authority to take care of mowing for the 2023.
Not if you're not creating new positions.
Just additional duties, signed by the superintendent.
Hey, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Arvin, what's up?
With,
I'm not sure.
only thing I would say, with the 3 maintenance men we have right now that are constantly running all the time, throwing the mowing on them would be very burdensome. So if there's any way we could create those positions for now to be able to post, tackle the mowing, get those posted, try to get people hired to take care of that. If you just look right out this window, we're not far from it. So that's something that once we do this and have the opportunity to get some people in, we can tackle. But that is one in particular that is needed sooner rather than later.
You can do that. I think the motion needs to be cleaned up, but the motion I had written down was for next year. Go ahead and make it effective.
Madam Chair, I move, see how easy this it was. Madam Chair, I move to direct the superintendent, VPP, whatever his title is over there, to purchase, go ahead and purchase the mower needed and to add the 2 positions, that's my motion. The reason that is, the mowing don't follow with the school year.
So create the 2 maintenance worker positions,
Yes.
effective immediately.
Yes.
Okay, got a motion, do we have a second?
So,
All right, discussion. I have a question. So with this being late in the year, are we figuring out how to prorate the salary schedule? How's that gonna work?
Well, those positions, they're hourly positions.
Okay, perfect. So it's not days. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Sorry.
I should have stayed in my office. But if we don't take care of it all,
Yeah.
we walked away.
I'm glad you brought out the action.
Okay. So we'll start with the allocations. If we look at the low elementary, look at our projected numbers for next year. This year, they were allocated 16 teachers. They had 1 instructional coach. Let me go back. They were allocated 16 classroom teachers. They have 5 specialist teachers that'll work for them, and all the way up to 4th grade. 1 instructional coach, 2 interventionists, 1 principal, 1 counselor, 1 secretary, 1 clerical assistant or attendance leader, 1 nurse's aide, and then kindergarten, 5 kindergarten assistants. And I'm leaving out the special ECE, exceptional child education folks, because they're their own thing. 1 custodian, 1 cafeteria manager, and 5 cafeteria staff. The recommended allocation for the 25 school year will be 15 teachers. So it goes from 16 to 15 teachers. Keep the 5 specials the way they are. Keep the instructional coach, which is Title I the way it is. Keep the 2 interventionists, and there's a change there. 1 of the interventionists is Title I. 1 of them has been carried with ESSER, but with the new instructional resources that Low Elementary will be receiving and training on, we feel it's important to keep that instructional coach in place. Or that RTI, it's the RTI specialist in place, because she does a dual role. She helps coach the teachers plus work with the kids to do that. Everything else stays the same. Any clarifications on that? So the basic, okay,
Did we go down on the teacher just because of attendance?
yes.
Tony, I don't mean to interrupt you.
303 students last year, 301 this
That's
year.
what I figured.
Yeah, so attendance is about the same. I think we went down so we can justify keeping the RTI special, so it's kind of a wash. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Bates.
Go ahead, that's what I was gonna
Okay,
touch on that. You covered it. Thank you.
okay. The upper elementary current allocation is for 296 students total, 13 teachers, classroom teachers. I'll do it a little different. Next year will be 311 students, keep 13 classroom teachers. So from 13. All the specials stay the same. They share with both buildings. They share 5 with the lower, 5 with the middle. So keep all that the same. Currently, they have 0.5 an instructional coach. And that is paid with 5-1. The allocation recommendation is to make that a full-time position. Full-time instructional coach for the upper elementary. Keep the 2 interventionists. Cut the assistant principal position. Move the nurses aide to 0.5 because one of the nurse aides are ESSER. So cut that. And in the middle and the upper will share a nurse's aide position. Any questions on that? Middle school, if I spoke to the, middle school will go from 319 students to 323. They currently have 13 teachers, keep that at 13. Keep the specials the same. They have half of an instructional coach that they share with the upper. The recommended allocation is make that a full-time position. So the upper and the middle school both will have a full-time instructional coach. They currently have a nurse's aide, make that a half-time. The middle school and the upper will share a nurse's aide. All else stays the same. And then with the high school, currently are allocated 19 teachers or 20 teachers. Currently, move that to 17 teachers. Keep an ISD position. The credit recovery position, the H/AD, was an ESSER position, so that's on the chopping block. So from 20 teachers to 18, keeping the ISD, that's in-school detention, and cutting the credit recovery position.
Tony, what did we combine that in school, that ISD with on that? I thought we combined it or something.
I don't recall combining that particular position with something. There may have been some discussion on that. I don't recall. Could have been. Well, could be.
I think it was.
Okay.
We did.
We did.
We did.
That's it.
It's ESSER. I think we got to combine that with the credit recovery, what I thought we discussed.
So are you saying a net minus 1?
It's 17 plus 1.
They had 20 teachers go to 17. Okay, they had 20 teachers, 1 ISD. So I think the net minus 3. For high school.
For your last teacher?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the enrollment.
That's where we went, asked for 2 to get one back to have both ISD and credit recovery.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I think ISD.
That was the 17.
You really need both.
Yeah, that was 17. That's where the 17 plus 1 come in, Tony.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's a net 2.
So it'll
It's
be minus 2 because of
Right.
student enrollment.
You're probably losing, it's at least 25. The senior class is far and away the biggest class we have in the district. You're
So
probably,
am I going from 20 teachers to 18
Yes.
plus an ISD credit card?
No, 17 plus 1.
20 teachers to 17 teachers.
And I can take it down to 15 if I run the numbers and do it as a 30-1 in the high school instead of what we agreed to.
The proposed allocation is 17, not 8, 7.
17
17 plus 1.
plus the ISD,
So
not ISD. And technically, with the high school, it's different from the other buildings. High schools, the board gives them 17 allocations, 17 spots. Their site-based council decides what those spots will be. It's unlike the middle school, and technically they do too, but they're kind of locked in with their specials and with their core classroom teachers. High school is a whole different ballgame.
Do you need a motion to approve that, or?
As soon as it gets going there.
I think that's it. So I leave something else.
that's for school.
The other stuff got taken care of on the first part.
Okay.
I'll move for approval of allocations.
I'll second it.
Motion in a second, all in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? 5-0, passed. Thank
Great
you.
work, great work.
Madam Chair, I've got one more motion.
Hardest day.
Really, real quick here, and this is part of this, and I'll explain to you what the motion's gonna be and why. I'm gonna move any position that's not covered, and hear me out before anybody freaks out on this. Any position that's not covered in that, so we don't run into, so we can clean this up some more. If we miss something, I move to abolish any positions not covered in any of this. But that's not saying that we're gonna abolish those positions. That's saying if we miss something, come back, let superintendent know we'll add those positions back in. So that way we don't run into what we did before past. This should pretty well clean everything up for us going forward. Does that make sense? John, you're sitting there
It's
looking
the
at me.
empty positions we're talking about now,
Yes.
correct? That are just laying out there dormant. We're gonna
Yes,
close them up, clean them up.
and then,
We decide, or the principal decides, hey, I really need that position.
yes, then all we gotta do is let superintendent know, superintendent, let
Documentation,
the
the
board,
superintendent.
and we'll put the position right back in. And that way it cleans up all them positions just laying around out there.
Thinking through it, I'm trying to, what does that do with our lack of middle school science teacher and our lack of a high school chemistry teacher? Is that doing away with those positions?
No,
So it's not anyone in them?
Those are like core positions there. Maybe I need to re-clarify that, like positions like a core position, chemistry, things like that. I'm talking one, seeing somebody move from this position over to that position. It's not back and forth around. We got all those positions sitting out there. And if you want to include them, we can, but then we can turn around and just add those core positions back. We can either exempt them now or add them back either way. And that way, John, moving forward, we ain't got, I always call them hidden positions sitting out there. Or I was looking at the thing, we'd be like, okay, where'd this position come from? And it helps clean the salary schedule up and things more than what it should take care of us moving forward going into next year. So when we're looking at this, we know exactly what we got out there. And like I said, I'm not asking to cut a position and not give it back. What I'm asking is, let's clean these up now. And if it includes those positions that's not filled right now, we can go ahead and do those as long as we don't have a one body in them, and then turn around, come back to the board and add those positions so we know what we got out there. That makes sense?
Can we get a list, I wonder?
Yeah, I mean, because you got the allocations, just put you also down in board positions that if you didn't go pick, right? I mean, so I'm not sure what we're abolishing here. I think
not covered.
that we did, that was talking about the allocation, that's gonna be a lot of positions. You know,
All your extracurriculars.
yeah, well, that's why I'm not understanding, so just, there'd be a lot of.
Is that too complicated?
Well,
So, and
What
just,
if you get the positions that aren't filled, and listed them, and then?
That would be a good idea.
I mean, it'd be nice to be looking at what we're talking about. We maybe put that on the agenda.
so some examples, like we talked about a district mental health coordinator, something that has been out there all year.
Yeah, 2
There's
years.
been no applicants for, just looking at the qualifications. If you've got the qualifications for that job, you're probably doing private practice and making way more than what we can pay for that. So there were several of those positions as we were going through this. Those are what we were talking about, eliminating positions that haven't been filled, that are more district-wide, that we don't have applicants for, not an unfilled in building science.
Correct.
Can we have a list by next meeting?
Yes, we can do that.
I think it'd be easier.
Not a problem.
Kind of like our 0.6 per person last year.
That's what I want to eliminate.
I heard that.
We'll have your list. Like I said, I'm not gonna ask the board, hey, let's just abolish this position, no, let's get rid of those and then add back what we need. So we don't run into a 0.6, a 0.2, a 0.9, and somebody owes for it.
All right. Have a second? All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good work. Thank you all for staying. This is great.
Learning.
Right, you might say that.